If you want to maximize the value of your Chase Ultimate Rewards points, transferring them to travel partners is the way to go. Rather than receiving the standard low rate you get when redeeming your points for cash back, you can leverage Chase's relationships with airlines and hotels to save an enormous amount of money on travel. Let's start this video with briefly talking about how to actually earn these Chase Ultimate Rewards points. Then we'll get into talking about why transferring your points out to travel partners is far superior than redeeming for cash back. And then I'll transfer out my points to United, where I will be getting round-trip international flights for me and my wife with points rather than getting money out of my bank account and purchasing them that way. Just as a note, before we get too far, you are going to need one of the annual fee cards from Chase that earn ultimate rewards. So that will be either holding the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, or the Inc. Business Preferred. And I'll get into more of that later on. So just a quick rundown on how to actually earn these ultimate rewards points so that you can use them for travel. To earn ultimate rewards, you're gonna need a Freedom card, a Sapphire card, or an Inc. card. With the Freedom category, you will need either the Freedom Flex or the Freedom Unlimited. Those are no annual fee cards. Those by itself will not transfer out to partners, but this next set of cards will. It is the Sapphire Preferred or the Sapphire Reserve. These ones will give you the ability to transfer them out to partners, but they do come with annual fees. And then the Inc. cards, there's the Inc. Cash, the Inc. Unlimited, and the Inc. Preferred. All three of these cards and all of the Sapphire and Freedom cards will be earning ultimate rewards points with Chase so that you can transfer them out to partners. I would consider these cards to be the best cards that Chase has to offer because they have the transferable currencies. Chase has other cards too, like their Southwest cards or their Hyatt cards, which are sometimes good for some people, but I would say for the majority of people, you really want to be finding a card with ultimate rewards earning capabilities. And that's what I have been prioritizing in my setup lately, trying to find those cards and then apply for them and use them for everyday spending. While we're talking about getting the right cards, sign-up bonuses are the best way to get these points faster. I have recently applied for the Chase Sapphire Preferred, one with a $95 annual fee, and that came with an 80,000 point welcome offer that has recently expired. You can no longer get this 80,000 point welcome offer, but it still comes with 60,000 points, as well as the Freedom cards, like I talked about earlier, the Flex and the Unlimited. Those come with a $200 cash back welcome bonus, but actually it comes as 20,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points that you can use to transfer out to get free travel. And the Business Inc. cards, those also have high welcome bonuses that you can use to rack up points faster. One way to get a huge amount of points in your balance very, very quickly is to combine your points with a household member. I made a whole separate video on this. That's kind of like part one in this three-part series on how to get the maximum value out of your points. So if you want to check out that video, I'll have it linked right there. And in this way, me and my wife actually used this strategy. I transferred my points out to her account so that she has a lot of points to actually use for this video where we're going to be transferring them out to United. And of course, you have referral bonuses. If a friend or family member wants to sign up for a card that you already have, you can refer them to the card, and by them being approved for the card and starting to use it, Chase will give you a certain amount of points for referring business to them. And so it just works out for all parties involved. I do have links down in the description below that you can check out to learn more about these specific cards that earn ultimate rewards, and they are referral links, and so you'll be helping out the channel in a big way if you decide to use them and sign up for a card. All the points that I make from referral bonuses will go directly back into the channel to make it much better. So that's a quick rundown on how to actually earn these points. Now, is it worth it to transfer your points out to partners instead of using it for cash back? If you decide to cash out your points, you will be doing so at a rate of 1 cent to 1 point. So let's say that you had 100 points that you want to cash out. Well, that will translate to 100 cents or $1 of cash back. I would say that getting cash back on a credit card is much better than using a debit card and getting absolutely nothing back when you use that for purchases, but I think we can do a lot better with travel travel partners. Here's an example. There's a deal I'm looking at right now that will actually give me 7 times the value if I transfer them out to an airline partner of Chase and book my travel that way instead of using the cash back that I get from my ultimate rewards points and then trying to book the flight with cash. I'll just give the rough details on what this flight might look like for me and my wife for an international trip. So the flight is going to be $2,000 and I found it on Air France. But if you go and you book it with points with Air France, you might end up only spending like 28,000 points for that flight. Well, $2,000 is equal to 200,000 cents. And then if you divide that by the points that I'm actually going to use to book that flight, the 28,000 points, well, that is gonna come out to 7 cents per point that you're gonna get in value. So I could get $2,000 worth of value just by using 28,000 points. But if you tried to redeem your 28,000 points for cash back, well, that's only gonna come out to $280. So there is a huge discrepancy there, and that's why I love using my points for travel partners, because I can get way more value. You wouldn't always get 7 times the value that you would if you just redeemed it for cash back, especially in this example that I'm about to share with you that I actually already booked. It's not as high as 7 times, but over the course of this channel, I do want to share all of my point redemptions, and hopefully we get a lot better as the years go on. Why don't we actually go ahead and make the transfer to United so that we can book a flight with points. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you are going to want to hold one of the 3 cards that will actually let you access this transfer partner screen. You're going to need the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Sapphire Reserve, or the Ink Business Preferred. Once you have one of these 3 cards associated with your account, you're going to be able to click on the drop-down menu at the top of the screen, and you're going to see the icon that says Transfer to Travel Partners. You're going to click on that and you'll pull up the screen of the airlines and hotels that have partnered with Chase. On this first screen, you're going to see all of the partners. There's 11 airline partners and 3 hotel partners, making up 14 for you to choose from on where you want to transfer your points. The next tab says Enrolled, so if you have already gone through this process and put one of your frequent flyer numbers into one of the airlines or one of the hotel loyalty programs, if you have already set that up, it'll be here. I have United Airlines set up right there. And if you want to filter it out by just airlines, you can do that, and hotels, you can do that as well. And then on the last tab, you are going to get what bonuses Chase is offering right now. So right now it is a 30% transfer bonus to Virgin Atlantic. We're not going to cover transfer bonuses here in this video. I'll save that for another time, but they are very, very valuable. I'm going to click on United Airlines here because I've already done some research in the past to figure out the exact flight that I want to book that it's going to get me to my destination and home. United had the best opportunity to spend the least amount of points possible to book this route. And so that's why I'm so excited that it is a transfer partner of Chase. When you make this point transfer, it's important to read this information that is going to be up on your screen. It does say that points are often deposited within the next business day, but it may take 7 days for that point transfer to finalize. Once you have read that, it's okay to click on the transfer points screen and it will come up. You will need to put in your member ID. So in this case with United Airlines, it's the Mileage Plus account number. So you just fill that out. And just so you're aware, the same name that's on the Chase card that you're trying to transfer points out of, it has to be the same name of that loyalty program. If I was an authorized user on this card, I do believe that I would be able to transfer out her Chase points to my United account, but because I'm not an authorized user, we have to transfer it out to her United account. Once you've put in your loyalty program number, you can click into the next screen, and that is going to come up with how many points do you want to transfer, and you're gonna have to figure that out. How many do you actually want to transfer? And make sure you're not transferring too much, because once the points go out of Chase and into the airline or the hotel program, you will not be able to transfer them back to Chase. So don't transfer too much. You must indicate a points number that is in increments of 1,000, and it tells you right here that it transfers at a 1-to-1 point ratio. ratio. That means if you transfer 10,000 Chase points, you will get 10,000 United miles, and it works that way for all of Chase's transfer partners. The flight that I want to book costs 140,000 United miles. Whew, that's a lot of miles, but it needs to be done because we were going to take this flight anyway. We just have to either decide to pay cash or to pay miles. When I went over to the United website and I went through the booking process, it did tell me that I needed 130,030 miles more in my account in order to make this booking. So I knew in this case I needed to transfer 134,000 miles because it has to be in 1,000 mile increments. That's totally fine with me. We're just going to have a little bit left over after we make the booking. We go to the next screen and it gives us a lot of information here. We find out how many Chase points we are going to be transferring. We're also going to be finding out how many United miles we are going to be earning. It also shows you how many ultimate rewards points you're going to have left over from this card. I think that is very helpful. You don't have to calculate it in your head. You just know it right away. And as long as you're okay with this transfer, you can go ahead and continue. For me, I just went back over to the United website and I triple checked that this was the exact amount of points that I needed for the route that I wanted, and that was the case. And so I clicked submit, and there we go. We had the transfer successfully completed. I got a couple of notifications in my email, one of them stating that the point transfer has started, and then pretty much immediately I got another one saying that the transfer was complete. And so I went over to the United website and I was very happy to find out that the point transfer was instant. I already had the miles in my account, and so that meant I could book the United flight immediately. It does take a little bit of work to figure out how to transfer the points, but hopefully you learned in this video all that you need to know. It is pretty simple after you already understand the whole process. I will be making an entire video on how I actually redeemed these points on the United website so that we could book these flights. In that video, I'm going to be talking about the value of my points for doing that transfer instead of just redeeming for cash back. And yes, the transfer was much better than redeeming for cash back. If you want to watch the video that I mentioned earlier about how to combine your points with your family members, that video will be right there. Thank you so much for watching this one. I'll see you in the next one.